Welcome to the weekly video 3, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the weekly update videos are. So if you're new to this channel, I have 10 subscribers, so you're probably not a rewatching video user, so maybe this is the first time you've seen this video series. So what's this video series about? It's a weekly update of my life, and this is the third one, and I've started this challenge to completely change my life in the next 10 years. And so I've started to do this series for that. And I want to use this series to become more accountable. In the series, I talk about my weekly accomplishments. I put all of my accomplishments, all the tasks I do into a notes folder, and I talk about that. I talk about what's been going on in my life. I talk about any mindset changes or any stuff like that. I talk about the challenges that I face. So what happened during the day that I didn't do, or during the week that I didn't do? What's the things that I failed at? I've talked about that. I talk about my YouTube progress, my social media progress. I call it social media because I've started up a couple of different accounts. I have a blog now. I have a YouTube, an Instagram, a Snapchat, anyway, and even an email that you can email me on. All this is in my contact form on my blog. So if you go to my blog, tylerdruninblog.com, and you go to the contact page, that's in the left hand corner, left upper left hand corner, there's four different pages, four or five categories. If you click on contact, that has all of my contact information. And so I do my social media progress, and that's it. And I talk a little bit about things that have happened in my life. So that's the intro to this video. So if you're new to that, that's what it is. Now, I do this to record my journey of it so I can look back 10 years from now and see what I've changed, how I've changed as a person. But also I do this to give value to you guys and also to overcome my fear, to become more brave, as Aristotle said before, and what a lot of people say is because courage is overcoming your fears. And if you don't know this about this, I've talked about this in the last couple of videos or whatever. Part of the reason I made this channel is growing up, my parents always said, be careful what you put on the internet. Don't make any comments. It'll be traced back to you. Don't make any posts or whatever. Your employers won't hire you or they'll fire you because your posts and everything. And that was kind of true, but also it created a fear in me. And so I always lurked on YouTube. I've never actually posted a single comment on YouTube in my life. I know I need to start doing that. So always was like lurking on stuff, even on social media. I'd barely post because I was always afraid that some employer would see my post from 10 years ago where I was immature or something and never hire me. And I'd never wanted to be canceled or whatever, but I always had that fear in me. And so this channel and this social media, all the social medias I'm making is to help me get over that fear. And so that's one reason. Another reason is just to build a community around, interest, growing together. Because unfortunately in my life, I don't really have anyone around me like that. I work with coworkers. A lot of them have given up on life. My parents and my family have so many problems because I have a sister, a brother, or a twin. I call him a brother, but we have a twin, a fraternal twin. So he doesn't look anything about me. And my two parents. And my brother, he doesn't live with my parents anymore, but I do, and my sister, and she's about to move out, and I'm about to move out, and I'm about to move out in a month and a half. I've talked about that in the other videos. But the thing with that is none of my family wants to solve any of their problems, and all their mental problems, physical, health wise, job wise, and so I I'm alone basically. I'm alone growing, and everything around me and the environment around me wants to pull me down. And so I've wanted to create this video series to attract like-minded people that I can get to know and get to discuss my thoughts with. And because I have a lot of thoughts about what I should be doing and everything, but I don't have a mentor. My best mentors are books, nonfiction books, and YouTube channels, but I don't have any of that because one, I don't have money to find mentors, but also number two, I can't really make friends in real life because I'm surrounded by people I don't want to be friends with. So that's part of the video series. That's part of the reason. And the third final reason is I want to leave a legacy. I want to show how a normal man who's almost, you would consider almost a failure at life at 23, becomes successful. In 10 years, I'm in the top of the social hierarchy or whatever, or, I'm rich or whatever. How did I do that? And, I have a beautiful woman as my wife or whatever, and I have a ton of friends. How did I do that? And I just wanted to show my progress for you, that to you, because a lot of people don't do that. Like, let's look at Hamza, who's really big on self-improvement. He was one of the biggest channels. He went to college for a couple years, got all these girls, did all the dating or whatever, and built himself up before he started the YouTube channel. Or in the beginning, he was already kind of built up. I'm like a normal Joe who's trying to improve my life starting from zero. He started at like 5 and went from 5 to 10, So that's what this video is, but it's also a legacy for my kids. So whenever I have kids, I want to have kids, I can leave this to them. If I ever die suddenly, they always have these videos so they can learn more about me. And, my grandchildren can learn more about me through these records and what life was back, 100 years ago or 50, 70 years ago. But also, I'm going to leave a legacy for you guys. Maybe if you ever want to become successful like me in the future, I believe I can be. That's part of my mindset is I think I can do anything I want if I do it hard enough and I do it for long enough. So I believe one day I'll be successful, and maybe you guys can look back on me and follow my journey, and you also do the same steps, or maybe you do some things different, but you reach the point that I'm at that time 10 years from now. Who knows? But that's just the reasons for this video series. I used to call this video series video log 1 and 2 because I was going to try to do like 100 videos in a row and document that. But now I can do it as a playlist and I can add all my videos and see how many videos it is. So I'm not going to do that. So I've completely gotten out video log and I've done it as a weekly update. And now I've done the info based videos on Thursday. So if you don't know my info-based videos that I do on Thursday, what they are is basically a video where I've solved some problems in my life. So my biggest one, the biggest info-based video, I call them info, but you can call them problem-based videos, was my skincare routine. The title of that, if you look at it, it got 650 views, and it was about 7 years of skincare experience combined into one skincare routine. That is like 5 ingredients, 5 or 6 ingredients, basically, that are the essentials because I had really bad acne as a high schooler, and I fixed that now. Where my skin's pretty clear except for my blackheads, but I'm getting those removed. I'm getting those extracted probably in the next 2 weeks. So I've basically cleared up all of my acne in the last 7 years. Plus, I work in fast food, which is really bad for your skin, and most of my coworkers have really bad skin, but I fixed mine. So that was a problem in my life. A a video I did after that that was info-based, problem-based, was my workout routine, or more specifically, my diet. So how do I stay in the same pound range? How do I stay in the same weight gain? I basically gained 10 pounds of muscle. I went up from 130 to 150, and then I cut to 140 and gained 10 pounds of muscle from 130 to 140. How did I do that? Eating fast every single day, pretty much every single day. Why? Because I can't cook at my parents' house or at home because of my parents, and there are reasons why my parents don't like me cooking and all this and everything. I talked about that in the video, but I did all that. I had control over my weight and everything. How do I do that eating out fast food every day? And so I made a video on that because that was a problem in my life. I couldn't cook and I had to eat fast food because there were multiple reasons that I talked about in that video. I had to eat fast food. How do I do that? How do I do that and not gain weight? How do I do that so my health isn't really bad? How do I do that? So that was the problem that I had to solve. Now, I also just did on Thursday my attuning to music video. And if you don't want to know what that is, my attuning to music video is a way of actively listening to music. And I will talk more about that in the accomplishment videos. So I want to move back to what I talked about earlier in the intro, the first minute or two. So this video is about my accomplishments for the week, my challenges for the week, my YouTube progress slash social media progress, and some life updates. So actual life updates, like I'm going to talk about one that's really big. So let's get back into that. Let's talk about the accomplishments. So these videos are every Tuesday. So it's been pretty much a week. So Wednesday, I did my emotional intelligence class. So if you don't know, I'm going to WGU, Western Governors University. It's an online university, and I'm trying to get my degree in a couple months. Now, the reason you can do that is they don't limit you on the amount of classes you can take per semester, which their semester is a term, which is 6 months. You can take as many classes as you want, and you have to either pass the performance-based assessment or the test-based assessment, the objective assessment. That's what they call it, performance PA and OA. And the PAs are basically two papers. They're about 1,000 words each, 2,000 words each. And then the OAs are proctored exams. You have to have an external webcam and you take an exam or whatever. That's sometimes multiple choice. I'm in accounting, so I have to do a lot of Excel stuff or whatever. And so I passed the emotional intelligence task one that passed. I on Thursday I took the emotional I completed the emotional intelligence task two and I submitted it and I passed it. So I've completed another class at WGU, Western Governors University. I've completed another task. Okay, I have or another class. I have 30 classes and I've already passed like seven of them, six or seven. So yeah, I'm on my way to in a couple months getting my degree. By the end of this month, I'll have 9 classes completed. And then the next month, I'm going to try to do like 12. And then the month after that, I'll do the last 12, 10. I think it'll be like 10 classes, 9 classes. I'll finish those in the last month. And it might take a little bit longer that last month because the classes are harder. So who knows? But normally, I'll probably have my degree by the end of November, December. That's the max time it'll probably take if I complete it at this pace. And so I completed that. That's the first accomplishment for the week as I completed the emotional intelligence class. Okay, that was pretty much my things I was doing on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, Thursday, I recorded the tuning music video. I made a blog post too on Wednesday, and I used that blog post as an outline slash script for the Thursday video because on Thursday I do my info based, and that was the one I did. I'm not going to get too much into that video because I recommend you watch the video because that's the video that gave me that's the skill, which is a skill, tuning music. Some people do it, a lot of people do it subconsciously, or they do it in one part of their life to gain motivation in their life. However, it is a skill and I use it in all aspects of my life. And I use that to go from a depressed man who almost committed suicide, a depressed human who almost committed suicide in college at UCF because I've transferred colleges a lot. So at UCF, before I came home to my parents, and I've lived with my parents for 2 years, and I started working at Whataburger, I became so depressed I couldn't leave my room except to pick up deliveries for food or whatever because I couldn't order food at restaurants. I was so socially anxiety. I had so much social anxiety. I was so depressed. I almost committed suicide. I remember driving by a bridge or whatever, because one time I had to drive or whatever, and I almost was like this. I said in my mind, this would be a good place to die. This would be a good place to jump off a bridge. That's how bad it was. It was really bad, and this wasn't like momentarily moment thoughts where like all people have had that thought when they're driving by a bridge or driving on a bridge, like why don't I just crash my car into the side or whatever and end my life? This was like very serious all the time, and I've completely changed that to now. My mindset's completely changed. I'm more optimistic about life. I have a better mindset that I believe in myself more. I'm no longer socially anxious anymore. I don't have any friends because it's hard to make friends with people who aren't growing. For me, I want to have make friends with people who are growing in their life in some part of their world. Even if they have a sucky life, they're trying to be better and they're actually working towards that goal. They're putting into action their goals. They're not just saying, I want to do this, this. They're actually trying to reach that goal in real life. But I can't do that because all the people around me, the environment's not like that. All the people I know aren't like that. But I've completely gotten rid of my social anxiety. My confidence has gone up. I've gained 10 pounds of muscle. I'm not ashamed of my body anymore because I used to be like a twig. Watch my my diet video for a picture of my physique, I used to look like a twig. It was so bad. I always used to say physique doesn't matter and this and this. Like, I'm confident in myself, but I really wasn't until I started working out and building a body that looks good. And now I'm not afraid to take my shirt off at the pool or, take up pictures. I used to be afraid of pictures, and now I'm not afraid of pictures. That's why I've never really had a lot of pictures of myself in high school, and I didn't like my mom taking pictures of me, and she had to like goad me into it. And now I'm not afraid of taking pictures. My brother and sister are. Why? Because they look bad in pictures and they don't want to see themselves. They don't of themselves, realize how bad it is. They want to just avoid the problem. Me, I've fixed all that in the last 2 years using music. Part of that, the majority of it, because that was a problem in my life is I came home and I had to fix my mindset, fix my depression. Otherwise, I'd be stuck with my parents for my whole life working at fast food, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to do something, and I couldn't get therapy because my mom wouldn't pay for it, and I didn't have the money for it. And it's like $100 a session or whatever, and I couldn't even, or if it was like $20 a session, and I had to do it every week. My parents wouldn't even do that because why? Because even though they made like my dad retired, but my mom was still making 100K. My dad got retirement stuff or whatever, and so I wasn't able to do that, and so there was only one way to fix that, and I had to. I basically had to self-medicate. I had to do like some self-therapy or whatever. And so I used music. And that was the only way. That was the only way I could change my mindset. And I couldn't do therapy. And so that fixed the problem in my life. And I really think it's a valuable skill. Like, no, you should learn it. I think that's the most valuable video I've made so far, and it'll probably be for a long time. And I still use that skill. It's a valuable skill. It's an active way of listening to music. So I really recommend it. And so I made that video Thursday and I did the blog post on Wednesday. But so that's my accomplishments. Now I also completed my ethics class on Monday, yesterday, and also on Sunday. On Sunday and Monday, I did the both tasks for it. It was a performance-based video. So I completed that task, completed the task, and I passed the class. They're still grading the task two that I completed on Monday. We'll see if they pass it or not. I think we will pass it. I think I will pass it. So I'm not worried about that class. Maybe I might have to revise it. So I pretty much passed that class. Now, I was going to be doing the accounting OA test, proctor test today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pass it. I'll probably get like a 70 or 60 on it. I don't think I know everything for it. So it's been moved back to Thursday. I've been moving it back because I've been trying to really understand the material for accounting because I'm going to be taking multiple accounting classes later on. And so I really need to have that foundation for it. So those are like my major accomplishments. Let's talk about the routines. Now, last Tuesday, I talked about I had gone to a art supply store. I forgot what it was. This is why I record the videos so I can look back on them and see what I did during the week too. Because my memory isn't great. My long-term memory is not great, but short-term has gotten better. I talked about that in the last weekly update. But however, I got painting supplies. I'm starting to paint, and the reason why I did that is if you don't know, if you watch my other videos, I have kind of hand tremors. You might not be able to see it, but my hands are shaking a little bit. It used to be very bad, like I mean very bad. And I had to take medication for it. I started taking beta blockers. And to know how bad it is, it started in high school, but I was taking chemistry in high school and even in college, I did dual enrollment. So high school, junior year, I was doing chemistry one and two at the local community college, which is Pensacola State College, which is where I'm at right now in the study room. However, I took those classes and I decided not to go into chemistry as a chemical engineer, mainly because my hands couldn't handle it. I couldn't pass the classes. Thankfully, those classes had a partner with it, but I wouldn't have been able to pass the labs because my hands would shake so bad. And like you're holding a pipette and you're doing little bits of chemicals or whatever till the water turns pink or whatever, or the solution turns pink but I couldn't hold the pipe. I couldn't use the pipettes because my hands were shaking so badly. And so, and my whole high school chemistry class, everyone noticed it and everything. My teacher, like, they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just have hand tremors or whatever." And I eventually went to a neurologist who subscribed beta blockers for me, and those beta blockers really helped. And I didn't really get side effects from them, but I didn't want to take that medicine my whole life. So thankfully, after working out for like the last 10 years, I think it's because I put on some muscle. I've dropped my body fat percentage down. And so thankfully, sorry, someone's like knocking on the door. I don't know. So thankfully, I I've lowered my hand tremors or how bad it is. Sorry, I have to move closer to talk. I don't know if they want me to not talk as loud, but I've gotten rid of my hand tremors, thankfully. So that was that's what I've been doing. The painting, that's been like for 30 minutes a day. However, it's a failure because I've been getting more sleep. I've cut down, I used to have only getting 5 hours of sleep. However, now I'm getting seven. Why? Because I've cut out some stuff. So since I've only painted probably once in the last 3 days or whatever, and I've painted a couple more times, I've painted like 4 pages. And so I forgot to bring the notepad that I paint on or whatever, the paper I paint on. So I forgot to bring that. I'll bring it probably Thursday and I'll just show it at the end of the video, but I forgot to paint. I forgot to bring it. And so I've been painting. However, the last couple of days I haven't painted. I really wanted to do that. Uh, but unfortunately, that's a failure of mine. I have been slacking. I haven't been tracking my time as much because that's a really big productivity boost for me is when I track my time. And so I haven't been doing as much. I've been studying for accounting and everything. But also I've been thinking like WG is what I really want to focus on is getting my degree because that'll open a lot of doors for me. Because when I move out, I can get an accounting job that could double my salary so I can use more money to invest in myself. So I need to do that. Also, I've cut back on my dual and back training, partly because I don't find it fun anymore, but also it's really hard on you. It's 30 minutes of it. I've made a video about the benefits of dual and back training, how I've been doing it. That's been improving my memory, my short-term memory. I'm still getting boosts from it. But for like the last 2 or 3 days, I haven't been doing it. I took a little bit of a break because I had my score lowered. I think it was because I wasn't getting enough sleep and my brain wasn't able to recover enough. But also, it's very intensive. Like, I try to do it the last 30 minutes before I go to sleep because if I do it earlier, it's hard to focus because I do it so hard. And that's the only way to grow your brain, grow your short-term memory is to really focus on it. And it will drain you doing that. So I haven't been doing that as much. Now, I do want to talk about the main progress in my routine is the push-ups. So I started doing, you know, 30 push-ups a day and I added 10 every single day. Okay. Or I tried to add 5 reps, 10 reps, and I've gotten up to now 100 push-ups. Yesterday I did 100 push-ups day for the first time. Not all at once. I've been splitting up the reps. I can do like 30 at once, but I've been splitting it up. So I'm doing 10, 15 at a time. So I'll do my skincare routine. So I'll do a skincare, like I'll do my cleanser, do 10, or I'll do 10 push-ups, do my cleanser, do another 10, do my benzoyl peroxide cream for acne, do another 10 push-ups, do my serum or whatever that I use, do another 10, and then do my moisturizer or the oil I use as a moisturizer. I've been doing that and I've been increasing my push-ups and now I'm at 100 push-up. Well, I'm at 105. I'm trying to do 105 or 110 today. I did 100 last thing. Uh, that's an accomplishment for me. I never thought I could do that. I never thought I could get up to 100 daily. Now I'm going to try and get up to the point where I can do 100 at a time. Now I'm probably going to keep doing more reps. I want to get up to like 200 reps a day. The way I'll do that is I'll do 10 sets of 20 reps. So I'll do 20 per time because right now I can do 15 and still have a little bit left on me per rep. So I can probably go to 20 reps, do another 20 reps, do another 20, do that 10 times in a day and I can get to 200. And we're going to build up to that over the next week. Probably the next week I'll probably be up to like 170. I might be up to 200. By then I might be able to do 30 push-ups at a time. I have known, which is why I've made a Instagram post on it. I know I said last time Instagram banned my IP or whatever, However, I still had like two old accounts, one that I never used, and then another one I used to lurk on Instagram. And I want no one to know that I followed people or this or that. So it was a random username that was like Skater1245 or something like that. So I changed that to Tyler Drunen Life. So you can probably see it. Tyler Drunen Life or Van Drunen Life or Tyler Van Drunen Life, something like that. So I created that. I changed the username and I posted my first post on that, which was a picture, a selfie of mine sideways. And I did that because I had noticed my chest was growing. That was part of the reason why I did the push up. One, to show that I can do that to build confidence in myself, but also to show, hey, my chest is growing. So if you don't know, my chest was always flat. If you look at my physique in the diet video, my chest is pretty flat. That's something I didn't really focus on. I mainly did rows and dumbbell curls. So I did rows to focus on my arms. So my arms grew and my shoulders grew, but my chest didn't really grow. And so that was like a deficiency I'm in. So I've been trying to grow my chest. That's what I'm really focusing on. And I wanted to do a body weight exercise that, I could increase and gain confidence in. So push-ups are really easy. So I've been doing that. And that's been focusing on my chest. So if you don't know, I've kind of gained a little bit of muscle. And so my chest isn't really flat anymore. It's now like a little curve, just a little curve. It'll probably take another 2 months. And I think it's why I'm growing so much muscle. Sorry, my hair's all messed up today. I didn't really take a shower before I came here because I wanted to get a study room. And it's the beginning of the term, so a lot of the rooms get taken up really quick. And so I'd have to make my video in my car if all the study rooms are gone. I didn't want to do that, so I didn't take a shower because I woke up a little bit later and I got my 7 hours of sleep. So that's why my hair's a little bit messed up and I'm not as composed today. However, my chest has grown a little bit, and I wanted to take a selfie of that just to show my progress. I don't really have anything to compare it to because my selfies before for the diet video was like front facing, so you couldn't really tell. You just know my chest was flat. So that was my first post. I'm probably going to add more to that post. My Instagram is more highlights of my life, the best highlights of my life. It's more curated. However, my actual YouTube channel is my weekly update, my blogs about my daily thoughts and everything, or my weekly thoughts. So that's my Instagram. I'll link that on my blog or whatever. I'll update the contacts so it'll have my Instagram and it will have my Snapchat. I also made a Snapchat. I haven't really added, I have no friends on it. I might try to add some coworkers. I don't know. We'll see. It's just, we'll see. So that's the social media thing. But that was the accomplishment. That was the big accomplishment in R18. Even though, my panning slowed down, my Dolan back has slowed down, my push-ups and my strength have gotten stronger. Because I went from being able to do like 10 push-ups to now being able to do basically 20 or 30. I haven't really tested out if I'm fully rested, have done no push-ups for the day. How much can I go until I hit failure? So it's probably like 20 or 30. So I've increased my push-ups. And so I've increased my chest. I hope to build a bigger chest, and so that'll fix my routine. And then I'll probably next thing I start to work on is my neck. The reason health is so important on me is these are the healthiest years. I'm 23, if you didn't know, 23. Other videos have talked about that. My early 20s are the easiest time to build muscle, and so I'm really focusing on health because now you can still do it later on, but it's just a lot harder. And so I want to do that now so then later I can just maintain the muscle. Because it's easy to maintain muscle. It's pretty easy to maintain your muscle as long as you work out, but it's a way harder to gain muscle. And you can only gain a certain amount of muscle per year, and that decreases as you grow older. So that's just the accomplishments. That's the major accomplishments during the week. Now, so that part of the weekly update video. Now, let me see if I have anything else. Also did a blog post on probably Saturday or Sunday. What was it about? I'm pretty sure it was Sunday. What it was I had gotten into a big argument with my parents. Why? Because they keep wanting to suggest jobs or they want me to go to job fairs in Florida. However, I tell them it's I'm not gonna listen. I don't want any of their helps. I feel like it has strings attached to it because that's been my whole relationship with my parents. And like not like in a good way, like they want me to better. No, it's their ideas of what a good son should do. And I don't want to do that. That's what my brother's done. I don't want to do that. And they don't like it. And then they have a problem with it when I don't want any of their help or I don't take any of their advice. And my mom even started to emotionally be like, do you just hate us or whatever? Why don't you want our help or why don't you want to do a graduation thing? And I was like, because I don't want their help. I don't want anything to do with them because this is the thing. I've lived with them for 2 years and I don't hate my parents. I love my parents. However, I've recognized the problems with them. I've recognized that they are fail in my eyes. They're in their eyes, they're probably successful. In my eyes, they're failures. Really hate to say that, but in my eyes, they are. And because let's talk about my parents for a little bit. My dad had really bad health for ever since I've known him. He always had sleep apnea. He was always really overweight. He never worked out. He always just ate whatever he wanted. Like I do eat whatever I want, but I watch my weight and all this stuff and everything. He wouldn't. And it was so bad. And he always looked way older than his actual age. It'd be so bad that me and my parents would be together or whatever. And my friends would be like, "Oh, is that your grandfather?" And I have to be like, "No, that's my dad." Because he looked so old because of the stresses of life and everything. And he would take like 15 pills per day. He had depression, all that. And the problem with that is he wasn't the only one. My mom was really bad. She's overweight for herself. She had to have a surgery a couple years ago because of a herniated disc. And yeah, they're getting older. They're almost 60 now. But they could have taken care of their health and they would be fine now. Their health span would be okay. It wouldn't be till they're 80 where they start having problems. Unfortunately, they didn't care about their health. And the problem with it is I wouldn't mind if my parents didn't start improving their health. So that's just their health, okay? The relationship wise, they don't hate each other, but they have all the worst hallmarks of hating each other. They might even hate each other, but they don't want to say it. Okay, they have contempt for each other. They dislike each other. They stonewall each other. I was reading an article where it was like the four behaviors that show that your marriage is really bad or relationship is really bad. My parents had all four of them. I'm not kidding. It was so bad that my parents used to argue all day, every day. I'm not kidding you. Every day they would argue at night. When I got home, when they picked me up, they would argue. It got so bad I'd have to break up fights. They would almost start fighting physically. Not just my dad. My mom would fight back to my dad because my dad's not really a big fighter. Now, when he gets angry, he'll like try to slap you or, but he's not actually trying to punch you. My mom will fight back. They both fight. I would have to break up as a kid. It got so bad that I didn't want to be in a relationship in high school or even into college. Hasn't been to the last 2 years why I had to fix myself. I had to fix my mindset, had to fix all that stuff. Everything bad with me, I had to neurologically program myself more. Why? Because my parents used to fight every single night and it made me think relationships were like shackles. Like, why would anyone do it? Like I see this all the time. And in high school, that's why I never had relationships or whatever. I used porn to get rid of my sexual urges, which sucked or whatever, but that was part of it. But the other part was I didn't want to be in a relationship. Look what happened with my parents. And so I had to fix that. So they're failing at relationships. The only reason I don't think they've divorced is because they don't think they can find anyone else. Because they know in their deep minds how bad their life is and they can't find someone else. That's how much that's just the relationships. Let's look at their job or whatever. They're a place where they're not failures. But my dad, he put all of his effort into his job, thinking if he worked a job, provided for his family, everything would be fine. Not happening. He now has a stroke, he lost all of that, and now he has nothing in his life except for ham radio, which is his only hobby, and doing yard work. And so that's just how bad my parents have been. Like, and the main problem is I wouldn't have a problem if they were like this, but they were trying to fix their life. But my parents aren't. Like my mom and my dad complain about my brother being overweight and how he can't succeed in public health because he's overweight. Who's gonna want advice on public health or on their health from a fat person or whatever who's obese or almost obese. The problem with that is my parents are both obese or overweight. My dad's like 40 pounds of overweight, and that's after he lost a lot of weight. Don't talk about my mom. My mom's even bigger. They're complaining about my brother being overweight. What do you see the problem? My parents put all their things in career. They failed at raising us. All of their children, me, my twin, Josh, and my sister, Alex, all have problems. I can talk about those, but I talk more about that in my blog post. I don't want to get into that, but I have all these problems or whatever. And I've fixed most of my problems. I still have some hiccups or whatever that probably won't ever go away. I'm trying to fix those. Those are getting better, but it's been slower. But my brother and sister won't do so. They won't put in the work to fix everything, fix all that stuff. And it's not like they don't know how to. I've given them plenty of advice, but they don't listen. My mom and dad won't. What am I supposed to do? So I don't want any advice from a person who I don't look up to. Think of it this way. Would you want to get advice? Would you ask a homeless person on, career advice? No, because they're homeless. My parents had a career, yeah, but my mom stayed with the same company for 20 years. What career did she have? She got lucky. She got a company that stayed with her for 20 years. She stuck with it. Even though she says you should companies to find the best job or whatever, she never did that. My dad, he had electrical engineering. But guess what? They made like 100K, 200K. But look at them now. They're worried about retirement. Why? Because they don't think they'll have enough for their retirement for the next 20 years. And that's not if they live longer because all the life extension technology coming out. What do you expect? Like, I don't want advice from them and they don't realize that. I don't hate them, but I don't think I should. And they think they're better than me because they've had a job for 20 years, but that's the only thing that's been okay with their life. However, they sacrifice my parents work more than 40 hours a week. That's all my mom does. She sacrificed everything for work. She barely has any friends. My dad doesn't really have any, except for like one or two. And so they have no one to support themselves. All they can rely on is each other. Like, what do you expect? Like, I can't do that. I can't rely on them. And the problem is they're not trying to grow as a person. So I don't really respect them that much. It's not like I respect them as humans and that I love them and everything, but I'm not going to ask for their advice. I'm not going to listen to their what I should do with my life or any of that. Like I went to WGU because I wanted a degree and I could have more money by getting an accounting job that I could feed back into investing in myself to be, which will naturally make myself make more money. I'll be as it become more valuable because I've invested more time into myself and more money into myself. My money making skills will go up, so I'll make more money. But that's just because I want to do it. Before then, my parents forced me into college, knowing I didn't know what anything wanted to do. I didn't know if I should work. I didn't know any of that, and so I even say this in my thing. It feels so alone because I live in a house that basically is super seductive into just sitting on my phone, reading all day, reading fiction books all day, fantasy books to dull my mind out of my reality of my life instead of trying to fix my life, instead of using that time to fix my life because it's everyone around me at my home is just like that or who isn't growing. And even at work, the people around me aren't growing. Except for maybe the high schoolers who work at night because they're in high school and they still have dreams or whatever. But that's it. And so that was another thing I did. Now, like I said, there have been some challenges. I've been slacking a little bit on my time management. I'm not perfect. I'm human. So I've been doing that. I've been struggling with my time management. I've been getting like I probably would have taken the accounting test today if I didn't slack off on like Saturday or whatever. Or I didn't do much the last couple of days. I've just been doing and that's it. I haven't been doing the dual back training or painting or whatever. And I've been getting more sleep, but I've been slacking off. So that's been a failure, but I'm really proud that I've been doing all this stuff. So I'm still making progress. Progress has been slower since last week, but I'm still making progress. So that's probably thing in the video. Progress is slower. That'll probably be, maybe I might do that as a title. I don't know. Progress has been slower, but I'm still making progress. That's all that matters. I'm doing stuff every day, even if it's only for like 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day. That's all I need. So that's the accomplishments and the problems that I've had for the last, or the mistakes I've made the last week. Okay. I still have 20 minutes to go because this is probably going to be a hour-long video. So it's been 40 minutes. See, last time I had it to like an hour and 15 minutes. Why? Because I had so many things I had done, but I had less accomplishments this week. So like last week I had 20. Today I had, or last week I had 10, but the week before that I had 20. So, progress has slowed, but I'm still working on that. I'm probably going to do a blog post tomorrow. I don't know. I have to study for accounting and taxation. We'll see. I still might wait till I pass the accounting class before I start studying for taxation. So we shall see. Progress is still going on. I've been looking at Charlotte more. I have to add some more stuff. I got to add some interviewing practice starting in September in a week. Pretty much in a week, I got to do the interviewing practice and I got to start making my resume. And I got to also start finding a place to live. I'll give myself like 3 weeks to find a place to live. So by the time I move out on like October, I have a place to rent locked in. So I have to start doing that. That's like the future. I want to make another blog post. I'm trying to do like 2 blog posts per week, one on the like weekly update, another on something else. I've been uploading the weekly update blogs onto the blog or whatever. So I take this video and condense it into a blog and I put it into my website, my blog or whatever. And so that's really what I gotta have to do. I gotta start studying. Those are the main things right now. I've been talking to ChatGPT a little bit more because I've been noticing it's a useful term, a useful technology for therapy because I don't have money for therapy. I still don't. It kind of sucks, but I don't. I'm having to save up all my money for moving out. And so I don't have the money for therapy. That's why my hair's a little bit messed up because I haven't gotten a haircut in like a month and a half because I've been saving up so much money. And so I have a lot of money and I need to save it. And so I can't go to therapy. And so I have to use ChatGPT, and that's the best thing. However, it is like you got to be careful on it. You got to really think about using it because it'll be nice and it'll just say, yeah, your feelings are understood. This is what it was and all, but it won't push back too much on you. So if you're looking at someone to support you, that's fine. But if you're looking for someone to push you towards your goals by saying everything you're doing wrong or this and that, it's hard. I don't think ChatGPT is that useful. Maybe you can like program it or prompt it for that. We'll have I'll probably try to look into that, but I've been using it a little bit more just for that. I used to do it for videos. I might still do it for videos. I don't know, for maybe a video title. We'll see. I wish there was a way I could upload the video to the ChatGPT, the app AI or whatever, and it could spit out a video title and a description, but it's kind of hard to do that. So I have to like type in what the video is about for it to create a title. And I might as well just come up with a title more easily. Now for YouTube and social media progress, I've gained another subscriber. I just realized I'm at 10. I saw I was at 10. I forgot I was going to do a video on that. Do I really need to do a video? Maybe the next 15 minutes. So congratulations. We're at 10 subscribers. My Tyler Army, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. We're at 10 subscribers. 10 people find enough value in my content to subscribe so they get a notification for another video. Let's go. Like I just realized like you know, it's only been like a month and I've gotten 10 subscribers. Maybe even less than that. I think I started on like the 5th, let's say the 10th or whatever. I don't want to check the date actually ever, but it's only been like 2 to 3 weeks and I've gotten 10 subscribers. Let's go. We're close to hitting the 1,000 mark now. We haven't even hit 100. Um, so that just motivates me to keep making these videos. Like, let's go. 10 subscribers. I can't believe I'm so shocked. Now, no one's messaged me on my email or whatever. I've added the Discord. I haven't really looked at the Discord except for like once a day or whatever, but no one's been on that before. I just created the Instagram and Snapchat. I'll link those in the vlog post, and I might link it to my YouTube too, if you want to. I would say use the Snap for direct messaging or email. The Instagram is if you just want to follow like the highlights of my life. Uh, so you'll see. And like I think Snapchat's more for communicating directly. I can use email for that, but email's not really set up for that. So that's why I created the Snapchat. And it's or well, I created the Snapchat first and then I found out I have an Instagram. I don't know much about Instagram because I didn't really use social media because I was afraid. Like I said, I didn't know about direct messaging. And so I just realized, yeah, you can direct message me on Instagram. Uh, and if you want to get to know me more, I'd say more involved conversations on Snapchat. Uh, just because it's more focused on that than like Instagram, which is like is mostly about posting stuff and then you can DM people, or we can do a conversation on Instagram. It doesn't matter to me. No one's reached out to me. I'm kind of sad about that. My 10 subscribers, no one's reached out to me. I don't think I've gotten any more comments. Which is kind of sad. I haven't gotten any more comments. No one replied to my comments. I put it on my skincare routine because those are really the only place I've gotten comments is on my skincare routine. No one's posted on that. That's really everything on social media. I've added my Instagram. I've done a couple posts on my website, which I had changed it. So it's now actually really good. It's an okay format. Some things I wish I changed on the formatting, but I tried doing my own format and it was very hard. My WordPress website. So I've changed it to where it's now, I think it's Dark Academia template or whatever, and it's pretty good. So it's a lot more readable and everything. So I've done that. After this video, I have to start studying. I might watch some couple of YouTube videos. I haven't really watched a lot of YouTube in the last couple days because I've been basically I'll just go to my YouTube and I'll look at my subscribers or anything that pops up on the discovery feed. And if I like it, I'll just favorite it to watch later and I just watch it later. So today might be the day where I watch all of my YouTube videos. There is a really interesting one on how to start a personal brand because that's important because this is a personal brand. um, I know I have a polo on today, which I've never wore in the other videos. So I'm sorry that was off topics, but I'm really happy with the progress I'm making. I hope I get more progress. I'm not hoping. I am gonna do more progress. I gotta keep changing my words. I can't say I'm hoping. I have to keep making more progress. I will be making more progress. So it's already been pretty much 10. I don't really have a lot of else to talk about. And I don't really have a lot of musings because I haven't been watching YouTube videos and I haven't really been reading a lot because I add those three books or whatever. I finished the leadership book, but the Reagan one, which I'm gonna kind of use at him as like a mentor or whatever, I haven't been able to get much into it because basically I've been studying most of the time and then I'm relaxing because the studying is so taxing on me that it's hard to be fully productive for the 8 hours or the 16 hours that I have the days off and the five or 6 hours I have on the days I work. So it's been really hard trying to get that. So I really haven't had a lot of musings I can't really talk about. And so probably the YouTube video, I got to do an info-based video. I've been thinking about it. I'll probably do it on my credit card strategy. So my parents and even my family, my whole family is very risk averse. My mom not as much as my dad doesn't do finances. It's mostly my mom who does all that stuff. And she's like the head of the family at my house or whatever. Instead of my dad being the head and being responsible. That's been like that my whole life. But my sister is really risk averse. And my mom is a little bit risk. She at least has credit cards. My sister won't even do credit cards. And so I'm gonna do it on the using credit cards for liquidity. That might be the topic. And I'll talk a little bit about it in the next 10 minutes. I'll probably be at the after the end of this going a little bit more in depth into the topic. I'll probably end the video. I don't want to, keep you guys for too long when I don't have anything to say, but basically, I've used credit cards for liquidity. So if you don't know what liquidity is, it's mostly used in a term for companies. But what it means is you have some liquid cash on you. Why do you want to keep a safety net? So it's basically like a safety net. So you know how people are like, you should have $10,000 or like 3 months of rent saved up, or the reason they say that is because if you ever have an emergency, you have to pay that, you need some money on hand for that. Or maybe you find your job fires you. And so you need some money to pay for rent or stuff like this. This is money that's emergency. So if you can't pay rent, they can't kick you out. So they're not going to kick you out because if you can't pay rent, they kick you out and then your situation is even worse. So now you're on the streets living out of your car if you have a car because you couldn't pay your rent. And maybe in a month you find another job, but you've been kicked out of your apartment. So now you have to find another partner apartment. And now it's a lot harder because you've been kicked out. And now you have to pay more. Or they maybe ask for 3 months of rent. So now you're living for a couple, and you can't afford that. So now you have to live out of your car for another couple months. And then you find a place to rent. And now it's a shitty place because, sorry, my allergies. It's a shitty place because you've been kicked out. You got kicked out of that place. And that's the only place that will accept you. So you see what I mean? If you don't have enough liquidity, one emergency can ruin you. If you don't have enough money for pay for medical bills and you have medical stuff and it screws you, and now you can't get medical treatment, or maybe you're afraid of getting medical treatment because you don't have the money. You know you don't have the money, and so now you're sick and you don't go to the hospital, and now you die because of it because you didn't have a credit card or you didn't have enough money, a liquid money that allowed you to take some risks, to allow you to live your life. Because that's what liquidity is. It's a safety net. And that's what I use my credit cards as, a safety net. And my sister doesn't get that. And she's like, well, I'm afraid of debt or whatever. And I was like, just pay it off every month. And a lot of statements, a lot of credit cards have like the first 12 months you pay 0% interest. You don't have to worry about that as long as you're paying the minimum payment for the first month, year on it. Why do I use it? Because I need liquid cash. I have about 15 to 20K in credit cards, in my like 5 credit cards, 4 or 5 credit cards. What does that mean? That means if there's ever an emergency, I can basically use the credit cards to pay that off. But also it's for investment services. So I'm paying my whole WGU tuition for the first term, which is $4,000 on a payment plan. Okay, that payment plan is 0% interest. Every month I gotta pay like $1,000 or like $800. It's on payment plan. Why did I do that? It's at 0% interest. Guess what? You know what I'm using to pay the monthly payments? My credit card. Why am I using my credit card? Because if I paid $800 a month, I would have zero cash, or I would make no cash for the next 6 months. My bank account would stay the same for the next 6 months, or it would go down. Why? Because that's a lot of money for a person who's making $15 an hour. And I could do that. But then what if something happens? What if my rent, when I go to rent someplace, they only accept cash? Am I screwed then? They don't have to do a balance transfer on my credit card, which is what, like a 5% rate every month, transferring out $800. 5% of that is like $40. So my rent up went up $50, $40 because I did, and that's not counting the fee they use for, credit cards or for account or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm using the credit cards for liquidity and for safety and for investment services. I can pay stuff now and I can break up the payments even further. And because my credit card, the one I got that has a $10,000 limit from American Express that I put my education on, guess what? That has a um 12-month interest rate at 0%. So I can now spread out that 6 month, the 6 months of payment to 12 months. I can pay it back in 12 months. So instead of paying, you know, $4,800 a month, I can pay 400. And that's if I start now. But I'm trying to save up money for rent so I can show my landlord that I have like $6,000, $7,000 in my bank account. So if they have to, they'll 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 rent to me more because I have enough money to pay for most of my rent for like half my rent in my bank account just now. I've saved up that much money. And so that will make renting easier. So I'm putting all that. So I'm not going to pay the $400 a month. But what if I get my degree, I get my accounting degree, find a job that makes 50K a year because that's what they do starting out after a degree, and I use the leftover money. Let's say it's costing 30K to live in Charlotte or whatever, 30K a year, basic necessities, and then I save 20K. That 20K can pay off my credit card debt, the 4,000, and then the rest of the money can pay off my college debt for when I went to UCF, pay that off, and my whole debt's completely paid off. And now, and all I did is it's because I had those credit cards. But also, they have personal protection. If if someone steals your card and uses it on a credit card, it always takes a couple days to process. That's why you always see the pending. If you ever have an app that shows your credit card spending, it always says like pending or whatever. That's because the credit card transactions take a couple days. And part of the reason they do that is because then you can cancel the, uh, order. So let's say someone spends $100, someone steals your card or you lose it, someone spends $100 worth of stuff. Guess what? That takes a couple days to process. So you can call the bank, you can call the credit card place and be like, hey, I didn't do this or whatever. My card was stolen or got lost or whatever. Or someone used my account, it was leaked on the internet, whatever. They'll say, okay, we'll cancel that payment. And they canceled the payment. That's how easy it is. Your debit card, someone gets a hold of your card, they can find out the PIN using hacking, using technology. It's not that hard. Your PIN doesn't protect you that much if you lose it. If they have access to your card, it's really easy. Now, if you're scanning your card at like a register or whatever, it's hard to get your PIN. But if they have actual access to your plant, your card, they can scan it and clone it and create a digital copy of your card. And so now they have access to your PIN number, and guess what they can do? They can essentially use it, and that money's gone from you. They can spend that $100, and you have no other choice but to lose that money. You can't dispute it on your bank or whatever. The only way to stop that is as soon as you notice your card is stolen or whatever, you lost it, you call your bank and you tell them to freeze your debit card or send you a new credit card and cancel that one. That's the only thing you can do. And so it's a safety net because if you have like $10,000 in the bank or whatever, someone can use your debit card and spend all that 10K in a day or two. Credit card, it takes a couple days. And in that time, you have time to find your card, cancel your card, all that, and you won't be hit by a charge. Well, in a bank, that happens. And so those are the benefits. Also, you get like 2% back. And if you use that to pay your rent or you use that to pay other things, guess what? That 2% is converted into points that you can use to buy stuff. So you're basically making free money. Well, if you use a debit card for everything, you're not getting any points back. You're not getting that 1-2%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if your expenses are like 10K a year, that's $100. $100 is you can use that for Christmas presents. Maybe buy a present for your lover or for your boyfriend or girlfriend. But you can't do that if you're not using a credit card. And so that's the main benefits. I'll talk more about the methods I use and everything in the video and in that actual video. I'll go more in depth, but that's just the reasons for a credit card. And so I gotta end the video. It's at 58 minutes. Goodbye. Thank you for watching to the end. If you're watching to it, I don't mind if you put it on two times speed or whatever and do a task or you know, do clothing or washing your clothes or sweeping, whatever it is. Like, I don't mind. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, fantastic day. I've gotten the first win out of the day, which is recording this video. That's the only thing I needed the study room for. So maybe I'll get some food in an hour or two and then I'll come back and I won't use the study room. I'll just go upstairs, the library, and use one of the small rooms for work or whatever, because I really don't need the study room unless I'm either taking a project exam or I'm recording a video. So thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. Have a wadatastic day. That's what my coworkers say because we work at Waterberg. But I'm serious. Like, message me, Instagram, Snapchat. I have so many now. Discord, blog, comment, whatever it is. Just message me. Talk about anything. You'll be my first person I ever messaged to the internet. I'm not lying. I've never messaged someone because I was always a lurker on the internet. So I've never messaged anyone through the internet or any through social media. I've always met people in person or whatever. So I'm serious. Like, think about it. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. I gotta go. So this is goodbye. It's an hour. I got things to do. So good luck. Have a good day. I'll see you back on Thursday and then on the weekly update video. Maybe you just watch the weekly update. That's fine. I'll see you back on Tuesday and we could talk more about my progress. So goodbye. I always do this weird intro, right? I get to do goodbyes. So